Welcome back to the OK Not OK podcast. I am Dr. OK, and we're ready for a brand new week with another question of the week. So, Sports Zoo, let me have it. All right, Doc, you were at SmackDown and then went to Disney World, so we did not get to hear your take about Roman Reigns this week. So, what did you think of the latest happenings with the Bloodline? Well, Sports Zoo, I have to say I was pretty sure you were going to ask me basically that question. But before we begin, I think after seeing Drax the Destroyer and being at Disney World for a couple of days, I think that you need to go to Disney World as well, and I'm going to issue you a challenge to ride every single ride in one day. I don't think you can do it, but I know you're crazy like that, so let me know if you're willing to take the challenge. Well, with that, let's get to the question. I want to start with SmackDown in general. It was amazing. The crowd was great. I don't think I've ever heard a crowd as loud as when you-know-who, Roman Reigns, made his first appearance. That was a loud, loud cheer. Unfortunately, that means they are all wrong. I'd have to say about 9 out of every 10 people that put up the ones did so for the wrong tribal chief. So come on, Orlando, and probably the rest of all of you in the WWE universe, acknowledge Solo. Come on, he is your tribal chief. All right, well, with that, let's talk about Solo first. Solo needs a wise man. Let's start with that. He needs a wise man because, well, one, Paul Heyman was doing him no good. So it was very smart to get rid of Paul Heyman. Maybe he shouldn't have done it the way he did it. That was not very nice. He does not need to get involved physically. He could have just sent him home, sent him away, and been done with it. But I guess he wanted to make a statement. We are not going to advocate for that type of behavior out of Solo and the Bloodline. But that said, Paul Heyman was terrible for Solo, so it was smart to get rid of him. That said, he needs another one because obviously Solo is just too young and inexperienced to know all of the rules about tribal chiefdom. So let's start with this. Merely taking the Ulafala is not the way to become the tribal chief. We've seen this before. First, when Roman Reigns became the tribal chief, we had the tribal elders put the Ulafala on him in that symbolic gesture to become the tribal chief. Then we go all the way back to July of 2023. After the Usos defeated Reigns and Sikoa in a tag match at Money in the Bank, then the Usos called for a tribal council at the next week's SmackDown. And Roman, being the little dog that he is, not the big dog, right? Suffering succotash. Let's go. Let's TVPG, folks. Anyways, so being that little dog that he is, Roman put the Ulafala on Jay to make him the tribal chief, then got down on his knees, cried like a little baby, and then finally decided, yeah, this is all just a ruse. I'm gonna give a low blow to Jay and make fun of him and destroy both Jimmy and Jay to embarrass them. He obviously had no intentions of giving up his title as the tribal chief. So, of course, Jay got back at him by demanding tribal combat. So, of course, tribal combat is the proper way to become the new head of the table and tribal chief. So Reigns had to put up both the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. I'm glad they got rid of that whole name. It was very long to say. Anyways, had to put up both the championship and the Ulafala to be the new tribal chief. So, of course, Jay would have won that match, but for Jimmy turning on him. So, unfortunately, that left us with Roman still as the tribal chief at the end of the tribal combat match. But here, that's what we need to do again. That's simply how it has to be. Roman needs to challenge Solo to tribal combat. If he doesn't, then Solo's just got the tribal chief title. Because, well, if we go to December 15th, 2023 on SmackDown, Well, Roman said the following: "This man understands what representing our family means. This man understands what it's like to keep this family at the top of the mountain," and he named Solo Sikoa as the tribal heir. So when Roman left, Solo became the new tribal chief. Because as one very smart person said just a couple weeks ago, that one of two scenarios played out. So let's roll the tape. First off, this Ulafala as the symbol of being the tribal chief. We've got to talk about that right now. So there are only two options here as I see it. One, after you lost at WrestleMania, you personally handed it, or I guess sent it by mail, to Solo so that he would be the tribal chief. I mean, if this is really the one and only Ulafala of your tribe, then you had to gift it to him to begin with. So what's going on here, sir? Why would you be so mad about him having that Ulafala at this point? Certainly you needed to take a break, so Sikoa, as your tribal heir, is the rightful holder of the Ulafala, and really, you should just be able to have a very nice conversation with Solo if you indeed want to take it back. So I think your actions here are proving to be even worse than expected. I had thought maybe there could be more than one Ulafala, but it really seems like this particular Ulafala means the world to you. So if you want to go get it, you should probably just have a very nice conversation with it and talk about the legacy of it and how well and how proud you held it over these last 4 years, which of course is a complete lie and garbage, but you could at least say it. But nonetheless, I think you've taken the complete wrong approach to this, if that were the case. Now, the other option is that after WrestleMania, you were just so disappointed and so sad that you just left it there without wanting it or even thinking about it, and it was just kind of there and someone from WWE picked it up. So in that case, that's almost even worse because you were then neglecting your duties as the tribal chief to your tribe. So you always say that you've got to put the food on the table for your family, but you're just shirking your duties. So it was completely up to Sikoa to fill that void that you just let go while you were sitting on the couch pouting for 4 straight months. So again, if this were the route that you took, that's just pretty bad, and there were a lot of people depending on you, but Solo heroically picked up the mantle. And if you didn't like Solo's tactics, like we said yesterday, well, you had all of that time, over 4 whole months, to do something about it, but you did absolutely nothing. Instead, just as Solo's going to win that championship, along with the tag titles that the Bloodline already holds, you take it out on him and cost him that victory. Just truly despicable behavior, keeping that food off of the Bloodline's table. Just terrible. You really are a disgrace to the Bloodline. As you can see, Roman clearly has no claim to the tribal chief title any longer, and it fully belongs to Solo. So Roman, you've got to go through the proper channels to regain that title if you really want it, which you should not because you lost that title at WrestleMania. And Solo has brought back the tag team championships, and he was about to bring back that WWE championship if not for you being a terrible family member. And obviously no one else in the family is stopping Solo because not only has he expanded the Bloodline, but Jay hasn't fought back, Jimmy hasn't fought back, none of the other tribal elders have fought back, and of course the final boss, The Rock, has not fought back either. He apparently is very happy with the way Solo is conducting business. And why would anyone complain? Solo keeps showing up week after week and destroying the SmackDown roster to regain the prestige of the Bloodline while you sit at home and cower and cry on your couch. So you are not providing for your family in the way that Solo is now doing for the entire Bloodline. That takes us back to SmackDown. So Solo called you out to acknowledge him as the tribal chief, and you sauntered down and took over 90 seconds to walk about 50 feet to the ring. It was a pretty short ramp. This is a basketball-only stadium, so it's not like a hockey arena where you have a really long rink. But here we just had a basketball court's length of a ramp, very short. You still took your good old time, shot off some really loud and really annoying pyro, which we can really do away with. Let's get rid of that ASAP. You don't even deserve that, but on top of that, it's just not good for anyone in the arena to hear that loud of a noise that close to them. But you go into the ring and you refuse to acknowledge Solo, and you don't say a single word, so of course you just get into a brawl to try to take that Ulafala. And I guess you did that for just a moment, but again, that was not the right way to go about regaining the tribal chief crown. So fortunately, Jacob Fatu hit that super kick, and they all destroyed you from there, as they should, landing that triple powerbomb. And I'm sure you're going to go back to crying and going back to sitting on that couch for probably, I don't know, another month or two, because, well, you just don't ever show up for anything. So go ahead, go away, go home, don't ever come back, leave Solo to his business, and I'm sure they're going to regain that goal that you are unable to achieve. So with that, there's your question of the week, Sports Zoo. You got me fired up as usual. Roman, get out of here. I'm Dr. OK, and this has been the OK Not OK podcast.